So, overall, the use of technology, both practical and digital, was key in the creation of both my music video and ancillary text. I've used a wide range of technologies, including ones I've previously used in the past, allowing me to further develop my skills in that area. Not only this, but also gaining first hand knowledge of technologies I've had the chance to use in this year. Um, so, the use of key technologies was not only essential for the creation of my media products to the highest and most professional standards, but also other elements of production, including the construction, research, planning, and ultimately presenting the evaluation. Now, to start off with construction, we use the DSLR Canon cameras that the department provided for us. We've made use of this when taking photos for the print products and for some of the filming of the music video, such as the time lapses and pan shots with the help of the tripod in order to get that professional standard high definition footages and photos. But as for the rest of the music video, we were predominantly using a different camera, more similar to the GoPro device that we were lucky enough to get a hold of thanks to our mate Max, who's also the bassist in our music video. Now, this camera came with a chest mount, which allowed us to film in first person, and ways in which we used this was a scene where we were cycling through Hyde Park and Big Ben. So those scenes we were able to use the chest mount in order to get the first person sort of view. Um, we use this instead of the DSLR because of the fact that the DSLR is expensive, but we've also noticed that because it was much bigger than the GoPro camera, it made it impractical to film most of our shots as they involved a lot of moving around, and we wanted to get the handheld feel to our music video so that the audience could truly immerse themselves and actually feel a part of it. It also clearly contrasts to the performance shots that accompanies the narrative sequences. The GoPro camera was also very easy to use. It was literally one button to record and to stop. And it also allowed us to shoot through a wide lens, as you can see through some of the shots here. So even though the camera was really close to us, you can get a massive view of what's going on, everything in 1080p quality. If we didn't come across this camera, then it would have affected our whole idea of the music video, and we would have resulted into changing our narrative to one that was more convenient in the use of the DSLR. So this device was a really huge help in making our ideas possible. After having finished filming in London, we've moved back onto using the DSLR Canon cameras when it came to shooting the band performances. By doing this, we were able to capture highly resoluted frames and made our performances look professional and not seem like we filmed in a classroom with just a black backdrop, which we did. The use of LED lights and lamps situated around the three-point lighting structure also helped provide the professional look on the performance shots, as it complemented the close-ups of the lead singer and the other band members with their instruments. We were able to get our hands on 3 DSLR cameras on filming the performance shots, and this allowed us to experiment with a variety of camera shots and angles on the tripod, making the video seem more vibrant and lively, reflecting the song rather than being limited to one stationary shot of everything, which would be boring. the After filming, we were left with hours of footage, both the narrative sequences in London and the performance shots. So we had to go through all of our footage, picking out which ones we had to use for the video in terms of the narrative sequences. We basically left the camera running in a vlogging manner whilst we did all of those things in London. So we really needed to analyze the footage and made sure that everything was exciting and something was always happening in each scene and that they cut to the beat. As for transitions between scenes, we used straight cuts instead of fades, as it is a fast song and using them would just slow down both the pace of the song and the narrative wouldn't reflect the liveliness of the song. A significant technique that also helped us progress through the narrative was whenever we covered up the camera with our hands, or like our heads for example, as this made changing the scene more natural and fluent in a way that wouldn't confuse the audiences. The editing software we used to bring our music video to life was Final Cut Pro. This proved to be suitable in terms of helping me put together the footages we had to the fast-paced song. The software allowed me to closely analyze each footage literally to the millisecond, so that no shot was out of sync with the song. Everything about the software was user-friendly, and it was really quick and easy to import our footages and other aspects like adding the text to the song, which I thought was a nice touch. Final Cut also proved to be handy when editing the saturation of particular scenes. For example, one band performance was filmed on a different day, and the lead singer, myself, was wearing different clothes from the other performances. This severely affected our mise en scène, not to mention the position lighting was different and was fluorescent rather than the tungsten one we ended up using. I overcame this by altering the saturation of the anomaly footage to one closer to the other scenes, so they looked like they were filmed at the same time. Because I had the main job of editing the product, I only had a helping hand in the development of both the magazine advert and digipack. The use of Photoshop allowed us to adjust and alter images to make them seem perfect and consistent with each other. This included fading images of the band on the magazine into pastoral shades. Inserting text was also easy and efficient and responded well with our initial ideas about the products. Photoshop allowed us to balance the colours in our stills and highlight the authenticity feel to our band. But overall, for the construction side of our three products, we used the GoPro camera, the DSLR Canon, tripods, lights, and the chest mount. On the digital side though, we use editing softwares Final Cut Pro and Photoshop. These were the only technologies used in the construction, and together they worked really well, as they were the tools that allowed us to do everything that was in our idea. Before we actually started the construction process, we first had to conduct the research. Our main source of research was the internet, and this included visiting web pages such as YouTube, looking at existing music videos related to the indie rock genre, such as Catfish and the Bottlemen, the 1975, and The Neighborhood, closely analysing conventions that audiences are familiar with, for example, the significant camera shots and angles in the performance aspects. For example, one particular one that stood out to me was the camera shots from the Strokes' music video Reptilia. And as you can see, I've also implemented this onto my music video because I thought it was an effective way to portray the band as a whole. But also just the overall band's approach to the music videos, whether they were upfront and serious or laid back and edgy. SoundCloud was another part of research and was key in allowing me to better understand the indie genre specifically, and also discovering other bands at the same time. This would also come into influencing my own products. I looked into the Jungle Doctors' SoundCloud page, and viewed the types of users that liked and commented on their music, so I could define the audience in which we focus our music video on. I also looked into media sites like Twitter and Facebook, which were important in my research because our target audience are socially active online at this day and age. So I used Facebook and was able to visit the band's webpage and read comments of fans on particular posts to determine what the audience favoured. Using Twitter allowed me to focus at what the most popular indie rock bands trending through the number of followers. The key demographic of followers gave me an idea of a target market for the Jungle Doctors. The feedback on all of these websites I visited helped me decide which Jungle Doctors song to create a music video for, and Late happened to have the most positive reviews. When researching the digipack and posters, I simply used Google Images and looked up some of the biggest names in industries such as the Killers, the Libertines, and Bombay Bicycle Club, and sort of just noted conventions that all of them consisted of, similar how to I analysed the music videos. This gave us a better idea of what to put on ours and things to include that made it look professional. So when it came to actually making it, we didn't leave any vital aspects out, such as the record labels, dates, and even the most simplest of bits like the critics' reviews. To help with the research, we also produced PowerPoints and prezzies of conventions of real products, whether that be the music videos or print products. It was a series of mind maps and spider diagrams of real products and analysing specific aspects of them that we could include in our own productions. For example, most print products included big bold texts of their selling point and often the name of the artist. And for music videos, it were things like the position of lighting and things to include in the editing process. These methods of presentation proved to be useful when looking back on in the construction process, so we could implement these conventions into our own productions. The use of Google Maps wasn't significant in terms of planning conventions of the indie genre, but it did aid in establishing the iconic locations of the music video. It allowed me to work out the transport and routes to our locations and particular events occurring, so we could film there. For example, Winter Wonderland was on when we were filming in Hyde Park, so that was a really convenient event that happened. But audience research also comes under audience feedback. And this was vital in narrowing down our productions into what the audience favoured. We used Photo Booth for various feedback sessions. This allowed me to film the reactions of my peers while they were watching our music video and then ask them questions after, which was filmed together. The use of feedback allowed me to plan and construct the music video effectively, taking into account the audience's opinions and preferences. I uploaded the feedbacks onto YouTube for easy access, and so I could post it on my blog. When we first started planning what to include in our music video, we got together as a group and started brainstorming a series of ideas between ourselves and combining what we previously thought about in our personal pictures. Both our personal pictures and group discussions were recorded in an iPhone device in a sort of podcast kind of form. And we used the iPhone because it recorded our discussions clearly and was easily transferable onto the Macs and onto our blogs. We also included a mood board combining found still images online of the things we ideally wanted to involve in our music video. So things like a tube map, because we were planning to base our music video in central London. And we included pictures of iconic landmarks like Big Ben, Marble Arch and Piccadilly Circus, because we were also planning to involve London's attractions in some sort of way within the narrative. But planning the storyboard was quite challenging for us because when we had our initial idea, it was hard to determine the kinds of shots and angles we wanted to use. Obviously, because ours was mainly handheld material and point of views, we really could only note down the scenes that were guaranteed going to be shot with the DSLRs, like the establishing shots and time lapses, and of course the band shots. It was also difficult because we didn't have a proper narrative established, but it was rather more experimental, to say the least. It wasn't as planned as other music videos go, because ours was literally going out and enjoying ourselves as teens. Although some scenes may be over-exaggerated for representation purposes, but we sort of did have a rough idea of where we were going and what we were doing, and that's what we drew. Obviously, when it came to the day of filming, some aspects changed and some things may have happened on that day that impact our decisions. So when it came to making it into an animatic, we kind of just experimented with the order of things that we were going to do and distinguish which areas of the song would be good for a particular narrative scene or a band shot. So like, for example, the chorus within the song would be a good chance to present the lead singer singing, and the verses could be alternated between the band shots and the narrow sequences. When it came to the planning of the digipack, we got a net image off the internet of a 6-sided template. We then looked at existing digipacks online and saw what kind of things we could include in ours. So like a lyric book or still images of the band and maybe a personal message from them. The template helped us when actually producing the digipack because it gave us precise sizes that the images needed to be, so we wouldn't have to guess. During my evaluation questions, this being one of them, I used a variety of techniques and styles to display them on. One of them was on Prezi, whilst another was on PowerPoint, which was then published onto SlideShare so I could post it on my blog. The other was a typed up blog, and 2 was made on Final Cut Pro, including the one I'm doing now, of just, me talking through what I've done and evaluating it. And including videos and pictures displayed in the background. Having a good variety of ways to present my work was good because if I look back to my own evaluations and just saw blocks after blocks of text in the same format, even though it would seem sophisticated and I could still say what I wanted to say on it, I would just get so bored reading it and it wouldn't truly reflect my creative side of media studies. Having these many methods of presentation really lets me get my point across to people, and with added pictures really helps people visually take in what I'm saying. Personally, I prefer talking like this rather than writing out because I could never really type out what I really want to say, and some things may have been portrayed wrong or in a different sense. But I also feel that talking through things is more engaging way to present my work. So to sum up, all of the devices that we use throughout all 3 of our products that we made, whether it was through the construction, planning or researching stages, we had the GoPro camera, the DSLR Canon cameras. On the internet we use sites such as Blogger, YouTube, Google, SoundCloud, Prezi and SlideShare. We use the Apple iMacs, and softwares on that included Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, iMovies, Photo Booth, green screen, our iPhones, and even stuff like Microsoft Word and PowerPoint.